Yeah, we on that time. 60 on the board, now we start that climb. Get ready, get set, yeah, the moment's now. When it hits zero, we gon' show you how good. Yeah. 50 seconds, feel the energy rise. Heartbeat fast, yeah, you feel that vibe. Lights get bright, yeah, the stage gets set. We ain't even started, but you ain't ready yet. 40 on the clock, now we pick up pace. Every second count, yeah, we in that race. Crowd tuned in, yeah, they locked in tight. Whole room buzzing, yeah, we taking flight. Yeah, 30 seconds left, now we turn it up. No slowing down, gotta fill that cup. Energy peaking, yeah, it's building fast. Blink one time, might miss that blast. 40 on the clock, yeah, we feel to the heat. Baseline knocking, got you out your seat. Hands go up, yeah, we ready to go. Whole vibe shift when we hit that flow. 10, 9, feel that energy climb. 8, 7, yeah, it's almost time. 6, 5, yeah, we live right now. 4, 3, let me hear that crowd. Steve on the mic, yeah, the nurse got skill. Break it down smooth, keep the whole squad chill. Talking about kidneys, yeah, we keep them on track. If your number's off balance, he gon' bring them right back. Got the wisdom on deck, no stress, just facts. Hydration, motivation, every time he reacts. From the clinic hallway to your podcast feed, dropping gems so fresh, yeah, that's all you need. Stevethekidneynurse, yeah, you know the name. Keep your body in check, yeah, we play no games. Real talk, real health, yeah, we keep it pure. Tap in right now, Stevethekidneynurse, yeah. Stevethekidneynurse, yeah. Stevethekidneynurse.
Welcome back to Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse, the show where we shine a light on kidney disease, dialysis, transplant, patients' voices, and the real stories behind the journey. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. It's been, let me fix my hat. It's been another week. And I'm sure everybody's been through their own situations, you know, dealing with life. Life is lifing. So welcome to the show. Check this out. This show, I tell you, it's been 6 years in the making. I kid you not. Today's guest is someone whose life is a powerful testimony of survival, faith, resilience, and purpose. He's no stranger to our broadcast. He's no stranger to our broadcast. In fact, Jonathan Traylor first appeared on our network, the Urban Health Media Network, the Urban Health Media Network, with our show, Lisa the Kidney Nurse. What I'm talking about, Lisa Baxter Show. Man, I'm all flustered. I'm flustered because this show is like a meaningful show. Now, let me show you this clip from that broadcast.
They presented to me and said they would like to put me on the transplant list. And my nephrologist said that, you know, my labs have been great. And because of my age, I was 42 at the time, they wanted to put me up, put me on the transplant list as quickly as possible to get me off of the machine, because basically the machine was what was keeping me alive, removing toxins and fluid. And so she said because of my labs and because of me being compliant, they wanted to get me on that transplant list very quickly. So that's when I really started thinking about transplant.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah.
So let me tell you about our guest. Jonathan E. Traylor Sr. is a husband, a father, a grandfather, kidney transplant recipient, and patient advocate. In fact, in August, he will celebrate 6 years living with a kidney transplant. 6 years of life, gratitude, and a mission that was born out of pain. Jonathan survived a near-death experience with kidney failure caused by diabetes and high blood pressure, two of the leading causes of kidney disease. But what could have broken him became the very thing that built his calling. Today, he uses his voice to advocate for CKD patients, raise awareness, support nonprofits, and bring hope to people who feel unseen, unheard, and overwhelmed. He is also the host of Hope with Jonathan, a podcast where he shares patient experiences and reminds people that hope is still alive, even in the middle of struggle. Jonathan believes in the power of telling your story because sometimes survival story becomes someone else's reason to keep going. And he's going to talk about that. But before we get to Jonathan, I got to talk about our sponsor for today's show. Today's episode of Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse is sponsored by Kibo Biotech, makers of Renadil. Now, let me show y'all this. If you a follower of Steve the Kidney Nurse, you get 10% off. Here we go, right here. Followers of Steve the Kidney Nurse can get 10% off products by using code STKN at checkout. And I want to thank Kibo Biotech for supporting our show and the kidney community. Also, got to get this out the way, the medical disclaimer. The information broadcast on Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse is provided for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not intended or implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and treatment. So with that out the way, let's welcome our guest, Jonathan, to the show. Let's give him the VIP welcome. Jonathan, what's going on?
Hey, Steve, has it really been that long? 6 years, man.
Yeah. Welcome to Dialysis in Life, man, with Steve the Kidney Nurse, man. It's an honor, man. Like I said, it's been 6 years.
Yes, sir. Watching that clip, it really took me back. So it's always an honor to come on your show.
Yeah, man. Before we get started, let me share something else with you. Hold on. We got another clip. See if you remember this.
All right.
This was the Lisa Baxter show back in 2020.
Okay, how did you get involved with the National Kidney Foundation and all of the things that you got involved with, and what made you do it?
Well, first of all, I want to give some credit to Kent Bressler and KidneySolutions.org. I actually had met Kent Bressler here in Kerrville, Texas, and he helped me advocate. And he's my, he became like a personal mentor to me, great friend. And he lives right here in Kerrville, Texas. And I met him, and he signed me on to Kidney Solutions, and he started advocating for me. Later on, after I got, transplanted and got involved with, some different advocacy things, Ken had, kind of talked with me about possibly becoming an ambassador for the NKF, AKF, and AAKP.
Jonathan, when you see that, what do you think about when you just saw that clip?
I see a young man that went through a, a tragic situation and overcome a lot. And I see someone at that time that was very eager to want to help people and didn't want what happened to him happen to anyone else.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, kidney failure had such a profound effect, not only on me, but, my family, my children. So, to me, it was just like I wanted to save the world.
So let's talk about the transplant milestone.
Sure.
In August, you'll celebrate 6 years with your kidney transplant.
Yes, sir.
When you say that out loud, what emotions rises up for you?
Number one is going to be gratitude. It's a bittersweet because for me, I knew my donor, and I know the donor family well, and we grew up together, attended church. We were like family. So every year it's a reminder of his passing, but it's also a beautiful celebration of life for me. So it's always bittersweet, but I'm always grateful, Steve, and really not a day goes by that I don't think about it. But on that particular day of the anniversary, I'm heavily thinking about it, and I would say gratitude, definitely.
Jonathan, was there ever a moment when you thought you might not make it to this point?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, so many. I mean, when I crashed into kidney failure, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Like I said, I was completely green about kidney disease. I wasn't going to the doctors like I should have, prior or before kidney failure. I didn't even like doctors. I had white coat syndrome. So, I was a terrible patient. So when I went through kidney failure, the way I did, I did everything backwards. I did the near-death experience first, and then I got all the medical treatment. So there was always moments during those times of I had some horrible dialysis treatments where, I would walk out of there with my blood pressure 80/50 sometimes. I mean, just crazy stuff. Low blood pressure that would almost make me, want to faint, stuff like that. And just different times. I actually had another hospital episode that my blood pressure and stuff, it just got so low that I ended up having to go to the emergency room. And then my blood pressure actually shot really high, and they found out that I had fluid on my lungs. And so, those moments definitely.
This is after the transplant?
No, this was during dialysis treatment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So with the 6 years, I've had a couple of bumps in the road, but nothing that has been, too traumatic other than, diabetes management and things like that. Because, once you get the kidney, your body is not receiving the dialysis treatment that, really helps with diabetics because it's, rinsing the sugars from your blood. But, post transplant, the body stores the kidney stores the sugars and your blood sugars. You really have to be on top of those, post kidney transplant. So I've had a lot of different bumps in the road with that and finding treatments that will work for me. Immunosuppressant drugs, I actually shoot my sugar up as well. So, it's a daily grind, daily battle. So kidney transplant thing, people have to remember it's not a cure. For me, it's been a positive treatment plan for my kidney failure and kidney disease. But, you know, I have had a few bumps in the road, and one of them I would say is diabetes management.
Okay. So you talked about the near-death experience.
Sure.
You survived a near-death battle with kidney failure.
Yes, sir.
Can you take us back to that season and describe what it felt like when everything changed?
Man, it was like a movie, literally. It's like I went from this guy that could do anything he wanted, just felt like I was so big and strong, to just puny. And, you know, I had no strength whatsoever. I had been lying in the bed for days. Thought I had the flu. I thought I was going to get over it. Showed up at the ER, had all kind of symptoms of kidney disease and kidney failure, but with the lack of education, I didn't know what I had. I simply thought I had the flu. Looking back, I did have some symptoms and some things going on that I probably should have recognized that it was kidney failure with the education I have now. But back then, I was lost. But man, it was such a, you know, tragic experience for me, an unforgettable experience to be a big, strong guy, to be flat on your back in the ER, fighting for your life. And I still remember to this day, I could not breathe. I had fluid on my lungs. I had my legs became cankles. I had cankles. My ankles were huge. My thighs were huge. My whole body was filling up with fluid. And, you know, I'm really, really, truly, if there is a such thing as a true miracle, you're looking at one. With my blood labs spoke of potassium, a score of 9. GFR was like 25. No, actually, I said that wrong. GFR was 0. Creatinine was 25. And I actually have the labs here that I can show people. I mean, when you look at the numbers, I should not be here, but here I am.
So let me ask you, what was the hardest part of that experience? The physical battle, the fear, or the emotional toll on you and your family?
I would say all three. And probably because not only was I facing kidney failure, but then COVID hit. And so there was a lot going on during that time, you know, 2019 into 2020. Man, there was just so much going on and circling. But, you know, there was a lot of fear because I didn't know what I was facing ahead of me. And then, of course, they hit me with all the diet changes. So,
Right.
you know, I gave up a lot. Like when I left that hospital 2 weeks later, like I still remember we went to the grocery store and we were in there for like 2 hours trying to figure out what I could have, what I couldn't have, you know, and it was just a total life-altering, life-changing experience for me.
Oh, they didn't give you that information?
I mean, they grilled me a little bit, but, you know, again, I was still trying to recover from it all. And then when you leave the hospital and you don't have that dietitian coming in the room and all that, and then you're just reading, and it's a whole different story. You know, you got to learn how to you know, learn and adapt and pick up on things sometimes on your own, which, you know, as a patient, once you go through kidney failure, you become a person that starts studying kidney disease, chronic kidney disease, kidney failure, dialysis, you know, kidney. You become a student of it, really, if you're a successful patient.
Now, you're right about that. I've known many people who've done the same thing.
Yeah.
Done the same thing. So let's talk about turning your pain into purpose. So many people suffer and never find their voice, but you turned your pain into purpose. When did you realize your story was bigger than you?
I would say coming on you guys' show, you know, your show, I got invited on Jared's show, The Warrior's Quest, Jim Myers, Uncle Jim Myers. Connecting with community, connecting with others, Kidney Solutions with Kent Bressler, attending support groups, and listening to other patient stories who had been through multiple near-death experiences and was fighting not only kidney failure but other organ failure as well. I realized then that my story really was peanuts compared to other people and what they had experienced as well. And so I felt like maybe I could do something like a podcast as well. And I thought, well, I'll turn Hope for Jonathan, which was my kidney page for a kidney search for a donor.
Right.
I'll turn that into a page called Hope with Jonathan, and start interviewing patients, much like you guys were doing, and and start interviewing patients and share their stories. And I feel like, that was my calling. That was my purpose, was to bring a message of hope and talk to people about, staying in the fight and staying strong and believing in the power of sharing your story, that would bring hope to also other patients who were in the same battle.
Yeah, I feel that way. I definitely feel that way, that one sharing that story can help someone else. So what helped you move from surviving to advocating?
Well, connecting with, people like Kent Bressler, who was my mentor. And then, I seen that they were involved with other organizations, AAKP, NKF, American Kidney Fund, all these different organizations. I decided that, I would want to contribute in some way. And I was actually a volunteer with Kidney Solutions as well for a while. So watching people that were involved in those organizations, seeing what they did, I wanted to do that. I actually got the chance to go to Washington, D.C. and advocate, which was an awesome experience. I got to tell my story with different people there, and it was an incredible experience. Definitely, if you get the chance to do that as a patient advocate, I would highly recommend that. That experience alone will help you want to continue to be an advocate. But I think the main thing is that there's people out there that don't have the power or have the resolve to want to share their story or share their voice. And so I feel like that as being an advocate, I can be their voice for them.
Mm-hmm. I want to say hello to your wife. It's been a while, Miss Melissa. Thank you for coming. And you're right. It feels like old times. And if you ask Jonathan, that's what I told him before we came on, that I missed those times, that period when we were really out there advocating. So welcome. It's good to see you. And I hope you're doing well. And thank you for commenting. And Miss Melissa and Jonathan, I'm sure this is going to bring back memories right here.
I was, just doing the same stuff where I was advocating, for myself and trying to, get the word out that I needed a kidney. I just continued with that and working with Kent Bressler and KidneySolutions.org. Can't thank them enough. If you're looking for a kidney, and you can always reach out to Kent Bressler and KidneySolutions.org. But I had done a couple of these live interviews with you, Jared, Uncle Jim Myers, and Steve Belcher, and all of a sudden I got a phone call from a friend in Kentucky, and that's where I grew up. I grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. So I was in technology for many years and repaired a lot of different computers and printers, and so this person that normally called me reached out for technology issues. So I just, it was on a Saturday, and when she called, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna call her back. It's probably a technical issue, and I really don't feel like messing with it. Well, she called my wife and said, hey, I really need to talk to Jonathan. And so my wife's like, I think you need to talk to her. So, I was like, well, okay. So I went ahead and called her back. And, and it wasn't the fact that I didn't want to help her. I just, I had a lot going on Saturday. And I was, Kent had told me, this is how it's going to happen is it's going to, you know, just you'll be involved with something during your day, and all of a sudden you'll get that call. And so I got the call and called her back. And when I called her back, I was just blown away about like what she was actually saying to me. And what she was saying was her brother had, I won't go into too many details with him, but he was going to pass away, sadly and unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had grew up with them. We had went to the same church, grew up as friends. Our families knew each other. And, you know, they had actually got together and realized that Scott was a donor. My donor's name is Scott.
Right,
and,
okay.
He was a donor, and he was going to pass away, and they had gotten together and met and said that they would want to send a kidney to me.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually got chill bumps listening to that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I'm kind of like welling up in my eyes, right? But when you see that, what does that mean to you, man? Right now, when you see that 6 years ago, and we here, you know, talking right now, what does that mean to you?
Believe it or not, I'm still just dumbfounded, and I have really no words, Steve. It still blows me away, man, that I'm walking around with you know, Scott's kidney. If you'd have told me, you know, 6-7 years ago, you're going to go through kidney failure and you're going to end up with this kidney, and the way that it was, you know, given to me, it's just mind blowing. And I truly believe that there was a purpose for it. There was a plan, and it was beyond out of my hands. You know, it had to been a spiritual connection. If you're a believer, I believe that this was God's will. That's the only way I can explain it. I really, my human mind can't fathom the way that my story has played out. It's truly been a blessing, and without becoming a sob story here, I mean, honestly, there's times, Steve, that I reflect and I sit and I think about things by myself, and you know, they're very emotional times.
Right. No, I get emotional too. Like I said, I mean, I remember like yesterday when you came on the show, came on Warriors Quest, and like 2 weeks later you got the call.
Yeah.
You know, you came back on and you talked with Jared and Tay Veazey,
Yeah.
who was co-host. So you know, it's just and just the fact that you and I are sitting here today talking 6 years ago. You don't see many, you know, social media relationships, and especially what's going on in this day and time. But you don't see this type of connection and community. I mean, you do, don't get me wrong, but you mainly see it among people who are dealing with the same, you know, issues in the community, not, you know, with some sprinkle of the professionals. But just the fact that you and I are sitting here today, 6 years later, to me is a testimony that this is supposed to be what it's supposed to be. Now, let me ask you about diabetes. You living with diabetes and high blood pressure, because diabetes and high pressure, a lot of people don't know, are such major causes of kidney disease.
Mm-hmm.
What do you wish more people understood before they ever reach crisis?
Looking for the signs and symptoms. I wish that their educational factor was a lot more intense. Patients need to definitely be aware of chronic kidney disease. I believe that if you have those factors, it should just be a given that they're checking for renal issues. I mean, I don't believe you should have to go out of your way to get your kidneys checked out and find out what kind of shape they're in, especially if you've been living with diabetes for a long time and high blood pressure. Um, I wish the educational factor was there, more intense, and I also wish that the testing would just be automatic, because you don't want to end up like I did in a near-death experience and crashing. It easily could have turned the other way for me, easily.
Now, if you could sit across from someone newly diagnosed today, what would you tell them from the heart?
I would tell them know that you're not alone in the battle and the journey. I would say surround yourself with positive-minded, thinking people, people that are going to feed into you with positivity. Find a community. Doesn't have to be family. Find a support group, a church. In my case, I joined Kidney Solutions, and that was pivotal. I mean, it was huge for me that it helped me, catapult me into a whole nother direction. I was getting education and mentorship, and that support group was huge for me. So if you can do those three things, also, learn as much about the condition as you can. Take advantage of free resources. Make sure they're credible resources, but make sure that you can take advantage of any resources that you can and learn as much as you can about the disease. But the most important thing, I think, is support is crucial, and also know that you're not in this battle alone.
Is Ken Bressler and Kidney Solutions still around?
Oh yeah, going strong.
Mm-hmm.
Kent is a nonstop, man. You can't stop him, and he's gone through, I think, a few little things here and there, but he's a very strong individual, and he runs a tight ship with Kidney Solution. It's still going. It's still going strong.
So let's just take a quick moment. What does Kidney Solutions mean to you? How important have they been in your life?
Kidney Solutions and Kent were a godsend at the proper time for me. When Kent came along and I first met him, he said, "Hey, I want to help you. I want to help you for free. I'm never going to charge you a dime for my services." And man, at that point in time, I needed it. It was what I needed to hear at that time, because I didn't have a lot of money. I was sick, and newly diagnosed. So Kidney Solution was a godsend to me, honestly. And joining the support groups it was crucial, because I would sit there and listen to other patient stories. And it finally dawned on me that I'm not alone in this battle. I'm not alone in this journey. And there's people that have gone through things way worse than I have. And so I learned a lot in those support groups. And Kidney Solutions was definitely a godsend. The fact that they never charged me for anything, free resource. Kent was doing it out of the love of his heart. And so that's what they are. They were a godsend. Definitely.
Yeah, shout out to Kent Bressler. He's also a registered nurse. So shout out to Ken Bressler if he's watching. Let's talk about the power of sharing your story. You believe deeply in the power of sharing your story. Why is that so important to you, Jonathan?
We're overcomers by our personal testimonies, things that we've experienced, our journeys. There's a healing factor in sharing your story with other people. When you connect with other people that have went through similar experiences and went through similar things, especially with chronic kidney disease. Like I said, there's a healing factor. There's a kinship. There's a connection, and it's undeniable, Steve. And so through the power of sharing your story, I think you can motivate and inspire encourage others, who are battling the same disease or maybe face the same chronic illness that you're currently going through. And I firmly believe that when you share your stories with other people, whether it be by podcast or at the grocery store, you're doing a good service to someone, help them out, help encourage them. You never know, someone may be on the brink of giving up, and you sharing your journey, your story with them may encourage them to keep going.
Okay, let me ask you, Jonathan, has someone ever come to you and said your story helped them keep going?
Oh, I've had numerous people reach out to me, text me, message me. Hey, man, that's awesome. I heard about your story, and it definitely encouraged me to keep going. And definitely, absolutely.
So, Hope with Jonathan podcast. I remember when you came up with that, man. I really remember that. Now, your podcast, Hope with Jonathan, is such a beautiful title, man. It is. What does hope means to you after everything you've been through?
Well, I often thought about that, and hope is an amazing word, and it for me it was helping other people excel or helping other patients excel. But for me personally, and my mother gave me this. My mother is a very spiritual, godly woman. She's an amazing person. Of course, I'm a little biased because that's my mother, but she came up with heaven opens possibilities every day. And so for me, that is truly a testament to my story. Is that heaven opens possibilities every day, and that's truly what hope means to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, when people were listening to your show,
Yeah,
what did you want them to feel in their spirit?
I wanted them to be left with encouragement and again hope, a message of hope. And I was hoping that by them sharing their story, that maybe we would reach someone out there that may want to donate them a kidney, or maybe someone would go get checked out about kidney disease, or we would just motivate and inspire, encourage other patients out there.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about advocacy and awareness.
Okay.
You volunteered. You talked about being part of AAKP. What is it? NKF. I mean, so many acronyms.
National Kidney Foundation.
Yeah, National Kidney Foundation, American Association of Kidney Patients, National Kidney Fund. You raise money, you advocate. You even came to Washington, D.C., in my neck of the woods. So what was keeping you showing up for this fight?
Again, just to help bring more awareness and continue to fight, continue to advocate for those that didn't have a voice, or help raise funds for patients that were in need, because I was there once as well. And so I just felt like advocating with those groups and nonprofits that I would be able to help other people. And so that's where that came from. And the walks really helped me out, because they were keeping me going, keeping me active. And I participated in all three organizations. As a matter of fact, Kidney Solutions, they have their own walk now, and I was a part of that as well, and a part of getting that going as well. So me and Kent kind of helped developed that together, and he's just did his fourth annual walk
Oh, wow.
in April. So, walks are a
Awesome.
great way to advocate and raise money. Definitely.
So what's one thing you learned about the kidney community that deeply moved you?
I think kidney patients themselves are some of the most resilient people that I've ever met in my life. And I think that's one of the things that I've noticed is that the resilience and the power of family and connection. Like once I put myself out there that I was a part of the kidney community, it just seemed like everybody started wanting to be my friend and wanted to be associated. And like I said, there was just like a kinship and a connection through kidney disease. So we all had different paths of getting there. Some had different, Alport's disease, lupus. My issue was diabetes and hypertension, obesity,
What's up, buddy?
but that was those were the main things was, the resilience and the power of connection.
Now, a lot has changed, Jonathan, in 6 years. I know you were married then, being a husband, a father, and now a grandfather. I don't think you was a grandfather back then.
No.
I remember your son was in school and everything. So how has this journey changed the way you see your role as a husband, father, and grandfather?
Family is important, definitely. Of course, my wife has been my care partner, so she's, helps stay on top of me and make sure that I'm, taking my meds and staying on top of doctor's appointments. And of course, right now I've been battling a foot injury, aka a foot ulcer. My wife's been helping me care for that as well. So, but becoming a grandfather was actually a milestone for me that I felt like maybe there was a possibility that wouldn't happen for me, or maybe I wouldn't live to see it. So when it happened, I was just like, blown away and very grateful because, I was like, man, because of my donor and because I was able to survive now, 6 years, it's going to be 6 years in August, but it's just an amazing thing because I was able to see my grandson, and he's 17 months old now.
Oh man, congratulations. So what do you hope your family says about your legacy one day?
Oh man, Steve, I would say that that he loved his family and he tried his best, and that he wanted to help people. He had a heart for people and wanted to help others. I feel like that would be what would be said, is that he always was thinking about trying to help people.
So I want to talk about the emotional side of transplant life, but I want to show this last video.
Okay.
So she was in the room when it was going on because she could hear what was going on, so she already knew firsthand. But so I felt like the next step I needed to do was call my advocate. So I called Kent Bressler with KidneySolutions.org, and he's like, Jonathan, somebody's going to get this kidney. You might as well take it. He encouraged me to, you probably should go ahead and take this kidney.
Okay.
And because what happened was I finally got a call from San Antonio Methodist Hospital. And when they reached out to me, they wanted to let me know that there was risks involved and things like this. Okay. And, at that point, I was 100%, but then I was like 90-10, and that 10%, because they kept throwing up all these ideals and risks and things like that. So it made me a little nervous. So I not only reached out to Kent, but I reached out to Uncle Jim Myers, and then I reached out to Steve Belcher, and of course I love Steve and watch a lot of his episodes. But unfortunately, when they called me at like midnight. So when I called Steve Belcher, I woke him up out of the middle of a sleep.
Really?
A sound sleep. Yes. But you know what? Steve was gracious enough that, he did speak with me a little bit, but I actually woke him up. Yeah. I just felt like I needed a lot of advice, and
So like I told you before the show, and I said I'll probably tell you again, I really appreciate you in that moment of your life, that you trusted me. Like I said, you didn't know me from a can of paint, that you called me, because I'll be honest, I actually forgot about that. And that you called me in that period of your life that you were about to get a life-saving transplant, and that I was one of 3 people that you reached out to. Even though I was sleeping, like you said, I woke up and we talked. I really appreciate that, man. But when you see that clip, that leads me into my next question. People often celebrate transplant as the finish line, but the emotional journey continues. What has life after transplant truly been like for you? And then after seeing that clip.
Well, I was told this, not by, this didn't come from me, but it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and it's really the starting point, because the work starts once you get the transplant. I mean, it's not like you get the transplant and the work's finished. You still got work to do. And so, the last 6 years has been a routine of, still going to the doctors and making sure that I do my med box every week, which consists of about 18 pills that I still take every day. So it's still, living with a strict routine. I've had a few bumps in the road, diabetes management. I've talked about that a little bit earlier. The blood pressure, my high blood pressure actually rectified with the kidney transplant. I haven't had any problems with high blood pressure since I've had my kidney transplant. So that's been a huge blessing. The emotional side of transplant, there have been times that, I feel like I'm more emotional, especially like we watch movies or shows and I find myself crying over over something small, but I don't think people realize that it's a change of life and it's a change of emotions. This could be another subject for another show, Steve, but I do believe that we inherit maybe some traits from our donors. And that's been a discussion that I've talked about with other kidney transplant recipients, other organ transplant recipients. Kind of feel like that maybe there's a possibility that you inherit some of their traits. And I don't know if my donor was a very highly emotional person. I'm not really sure how. I've never seen him highly emotional, but
Right.
I do feel like that I am more emotional about things. And but kidney transplant is definitely a journey. It's not an overall cure, but it's been an amazing treatment for me. Now my story speaks to that. Other people out there may say different. I can only talk about my story, but kidney transplant's been a beautiful blessing for me. Dialysis, I'm very grateful that dialysis was there because it saved my life. Without dialysis, I wouldn't be sitting here. But definitely.
Mm-hmm. So what helps you stay grounded and grateful on the hard days?
I think family helps me do that. They remind me of who I am. I'm not Hope with Jonathan here. I'm just dad
All
or
right.
grandpa, pawpaw. I'm my wife keeps me grounded. My family keeps me grounded. My mom will never let me get too crazy. She always keeps me grounded. But I also think that prayer, things like that, to keep me grounded. But I try to just always wake up with in my heart. I have rough days like everybody else. It's not all rainbows and butterflies every day, and I don't wake up every day where I say, "Oh man, you got to believe in the power of hope." I have bad days too where I'll stub my toe. But um, at the end of the day, when the smoke settles, I'm right back to, hey man, I gotta share that message of hope. I gotta be that light, and so I think that's what keeps me grounded as well.
Hmm. All right, it's my last question, and this message is for the unseen and unheard. There are people listening right now, or may see the rebroadcast, who may feel sick, scared, or invisible. What message do you want them to hear from you right now, today?
If you're scared, you want to continue to do research and find out exactly what you're scared of. If it's scared of symptoms, if you're experiencing any symptoms of chronic kidney disease, especially for me, it was foamy urine. I also had a lot of UTIs, blood in the urine, and that's really not typical of men. I knew in my heart that something was going on for a long time, and I also had white coat syndrome. So I would encourage you, even though you might be scared, to go ahead and get checked out and find out what's going on. I mean, if you're feeling like you got something going on and that something's going on and you keep ignoring it or you think it's going to go away, it's probably not going to go away. You need to go get checked out. I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, I plead with you to go get checked out. Don't be a patient like me that ended up flat on their back because they ignored the signs and symptoms of chronic kidney disease. I would also say, like I said before, find a community, get connected with others that are experiencing chronic kidney disease, find a support group. Like I said, it doesn't need to be family. It doesn't have to be a support group. It could be a church. It could be a bingo hall. I mean, wherever you can go to find support and community, to where you can get what you need. Take advantage, like I said, of all free resources that are credible, that you can, and just know that you're not alone.
Mm. Now, what would you say to the person who feels like they are running out of hope?
Right. Just know that your diagnosis is not your destiny, and you got to know that you have a purpose. And of course, I'm a believer, so I believe that God has a perfect plan and a perfect will and a perfect purpose for us. And so, yeah, I would continue to encourage that person to believe in the power of hope and the power of healing and faith, and connect with others that are fighting this journey as well. Those people can encourage you. Like I said, listen to these type of podcasts. Find positive uh, things like this podcast that you can listen to. Positive affirmations. There's power in positivity. I truly believe that. Like I said, the connection with others, there's a healing factor with that. And if you can get connected with others that are fighting the same journey as you,
Mm-hmm.
there is a healing factor, and you will feel that in your heart. And I would highly encourage you to do that.
Yeah, there's a saying, right? and in AA, that Alcoholics Anonymous, it says, as long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that tear us apart, all will be well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But hey, Jonathan, hey man, I really appreciate you coming on, because that brings us to the end of today's episode of Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse. Again, man, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your journey, and your truth with us today. Your story, seriously, is a reminder that kidney disease does not just affect the body, it affects family, faith, identity, and hope. But your life also shows us that even after a near loss, there can still be purpose. Even at the fear, there can still be faith. And even at the hardest seasons, there can still be a powerful testimony to help someone else survive their own journey. Thank you, man, seriously, for being a voice for the kidney community, for lifting up patient stories, and for reminding people that hope is not lost. And like I said, man, I hope and pray that, I know life goes on, and life be life and for a lot of people, but I at least hope you come back, and do your podcast, even if it's once a month, because we need that. We need more of that in the community, man. And you're from, I feel like, from the era when we started, really kind of pushing this, and to where, other people are doing it. So, but I missed you, hearing your podcast and sharing people's story. But I really strongly feel that it's needed. And I hope you do come back. I know you got things going on, but I just hope that I even told Jared that, even Lisa Baxter, because there are many people out there, and we all have our own unique. It's not one show against the other or this and that. It's, how we come across as far as our personalities and, the platform and what you're sharing. So I just hope you come back. Anything you want to say before, I end the show?
First of all, I just want to thank you for the awesome opportunity, and what you said before, man, is just beautiful. And I do appreciate your support. And you'll be the first to know when the Hope with Jonathan podcast comes out again. Believe it or not, I miss it genuinely, and I miss doing it. Being on this show brings back so many memories of doing podcasting. So definitely always in my mind and in my heart. But I really appreciate the opportunity, and I think you're doing amazing things, and continue to do great things, Steve. You are an amazing voice for the community, and I've been following you, so I know what you're up to. I see what you're doing, and you're doing amazing things. And just keep going strong, man. You are reaching people, and I see you on the FYP.
Oh, well, thank you for letting me know. I don't know if I be out there now. I don't really get a lot of views, but I still keep going. And, that's always been one thing I never understood when it comes to kidney disease advocacy and education, that, when we education during our shows, we don't get that big turnout as you see other podcasts that, I guess, listen to something that may sound exciting or the sensational news. But
Right.
when you hear other people's story, I think that lets one know that they're not alone. Now, I know many people say I deal with this every day and I just want to get a break from it. And that's understandable. But, at the same time, you know,
Yeah.
it gotta be continuous education because people are continually being diagnosed
Exactly.
and on dialysis.
Yeah, and more being added to the transplant list daily, and unfortunately passing away daily of chronic kidney disease. So it's definitely important to continue these podcasts. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right, Jonathan, man, I appreciate you being on. I want to close out. So if you ever, man, you know, think about doing that, or you want to come back on and talk about something, please hit me. And you know, well, you know where to find me, man.
Definitely.
You know where to find me, and I always want to be here. And if you want to do something, just reach out.
Absolutely, I appreciate you.
All right, Jonathan, take it easy. All right, thanks again for coming on.
All
and
right.
Thank you, Miss Melissa. I appreciate your support always. All right, brother. Take care.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
All right. So, to our listeners of Dialysis in Life with Steve the Kidney Nurse, if Jonathan's story spoke to you, share this episode with someone who needs encouragement, awareness, or simply a reason to keep going on. This is Steve the Kidney Nurse. And remember, your story matters, your health matters, and your life matters. Until next time, stay informed, stay encouraged, and keep choosing life. And with that being said, take care and good night.
Steve on the mic, yeah, the nurse got skill, break it down smooth, keep the whole squad chill, talking about kidneys, yeah, we keep them on track. If your numbers off balance, he gon' bring them right back. Got the wisdom on deck, no stress, just facts, hydration, motivation every time he reacts. From the clinic hallway to your podcast feed, dropping gems so fresh, yeah, that's all you need. Steve the Kidney Nurse, yeah, you know the name, keep your body in check, yeah, we play no games, real talk, real health, yeah, we keep it pure. Tap in right now, Steve the Kidney Nurse, yeah. The Kidney Nurse.